I'm very happy that I chose to go on a clinical trial. I've just had exceptional care.
My mom having cancer doesn't just affect her, but it also affects all of us. It's hard to deal with. It's hard to watch her be in pain and after chemo or surgery. It's just nerve-wracking for all of us. But she's a fighter, and she always kept going.
I know that if I had taken the advice of my first oncologist, which was to go home, that what they predicted would have happened. I would have died.
I guess the other thing that struck me over the years as I got to work with Lori is how much she was invested in her own care. The other thing I try to tell patients is you need to look forward and aggressively manage your own half of this equation. Lori was very good at that. I mean, she asked questions. She made sure she understood what we were doing. She looked on the internet. She called people. She talked to other doctors. She got different opinions. And I think a patient is their own best advocate.
When I was searching and looking at it, I'm a nurse, so I have a lot of doctor friends in the hospital I work at. There were several just community doctors that were saying, don't let them put you on a clinical trial, telling me how I could spend the remaining days in and out of hospitals and being scanned and poked and prodded and looked at while they tried to learn new science. And, you know, my perception when I first went in was I was very skeptical. I was a little frightened of them. And it wasn't as I anticipated at all. You know, you didn't feel like a guinea pig at all. I felt like I got better care on the clinical trial than I would if I'd just done standard of care.
I think the other thing that is important for patients to know is the vast majority of cancer studies do not have a placebo. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about it as a sugar pill. A placebo is a substance that doesn't have any anti-cancer activity whatsoever. It's a sugar water, sugar pill, whatever, and is almost never used by itself in oncology.
Good clinical trials don't withhold effective therapy from patients. They use the state-of-the-art therapy and then add to it. In addition, they have very close follow-up and monitoring with a whole team of people from the institution checking up on all their lab values and making sure things are scheduled on time. And just the practical aspects of being in a clinical trial, I think, result in better care.
With a clinical trial, there's so many people part of the team, and you are monitored, and they do extra scans.
So with Lori, she was not a usual lung cancer patient, and so we did think a little bit out of the box with her, and she's alive years later when she was supposed to have been alive only 6 months. And I remember her saying that I wanted to live to see my daughters graduate from high school, and that was years ago. And you know, a lot of doctors would say, you're not going to. Resign yourself to it, get a grip. But I said, well, we'll do everything we can to make that happen. And I think she's had one graduate, and so hopefully we'll get her to see the second.
I do think that patients can benefit from some of the new drugs that we are currently investigating. I think they do it not only for people 25 years from now, I do think they also do it for themselves. So if we're ever going to make progress in terms of getting to that 25-year mark where lung cancer is a truly chronic disease, it is by getting patients to participate in these trials. And I know that's not an easy thing to do. It's a courageous thing to do.